had the privilege of working under Jim since Fred was working in the buildings along the front before they were pulled down. And I've been working here one day a week on the maintenance of the building, and I was always so impressed with the detailed, meticulous knowledge which Jim had of the building, of its present state, of who had worked on it in the past, details which had gone out of my mind, even though I was the one working on it. So every week when I came, there'd be a list of things to do, and he knew exactly what needed doing and where. And he was so insistent that the building be kept up to a very high standard, despite the lack of funds to do it, but that was his insistence. So I appreciate all the personal tributes that other people have made. I won't add to that, but just that detail about the building and all the arrangements, all the different contractors, insurance, all of those details he'd got absolutely sewn up. So thank you, Jim, for having such a care for the building as well as the people.
Hi, my name's Miranda. I've been working here for the last 10 years, and obviously in all that time I've known Jim. I just want to say a couple of words about him and some of my memories of him, and in a moment there'll be a chance, if there's anyone else who isn't down on the programme but who would really like to come up and just say a few words, there'll be a chance for you to do that. So that'll be in a few minutes, and then we'll get some of the kids up after that. Jim was obviously one of the first people I met when I got in touch with Salmon, and actually he was almost one who put me off even applying for my job, because I'd rung up with a question about the interview and he just shouted at me over the phone, and I was a bit, oh, that's a bit strange, but you know, I thought I'd persevere, and you know, I'm glad I did, because he used to shout a lot and he could be quite, what's the word, brisk, but he just didn't really have time for stupid questions, I suppose. And when I got to know him, I guess I found out that was just one very small part of his personality. And actually, there's a lot more to him under the surface. It's a shame that sometimes, you know, the shouting is the first thing that people see. Because actually, when I've been thinking about it this week and remembering him, in a lot of ways, he's like a little boy. The dancing, that happened quite a lot. And it wasn't just in club with the kids. It was like in the office. You know, he might just do a few little dance moves just because someone had made him a cup of tea or because something good had happened. He would just, you know, do that. He was quite joyful, really, which not everyone would expect. And yeah, just, I guess even thinking, you know, the first couple of young people that came up tonight, they got into 6 to 9s club when they were 5, and that happens a lot more than you think it would. Jim would like sneak kids in, you know, just whenever he could, really. And that was just him, really. I think it was the young people that excited him the most. And sometimes he didn't have time for, you know, silly questions or details, but actually he had all the time in the world for the young people. Yeah, and I guess the thing that I'll take away from kind of the last few weeks and really reflecting on his life is that he worked so hard. He didn't really have the whole work-life separation that people talk about. That just didn't exist for Jim. And I can't remember if it was actually something that really happened or something that we thought should happen, that he had a salmon dressing gown, because we all order our own uniform, and I don't know, he either did order a dressing gown or we all, you know, thought he should order a salmon dressing gown, because he would eat, sleep, every hour he would be working here, and if he wasn't working here, he'd be taking holiday to go and work somewhere else, going to do army cadets, going to do things at church. For him, I'm sure he didn't even see it as work. It was his life. And for me, that's just really encouraging. And I think if perhaps he'd applied all of that effort and talent and hard work to another field, for example, business or sport or whatever, he probably would have been like really, really rich or like really, really famous, but he actually chose to apply all that effort to young people and children, and he did that for years and years and years. And I think it's really encouraging, because now he's in heaven. I think he is very rich and famous in heaven, because, you know, he's rich in the blessings that God's going to give him for all the work he did. And he must be so famous for all the many, many things that he's done over the years that those things don't get forgotten in heaven, and they're valued. And so I think there he will be a very rich and famous man. I think it's encouraging that I guess he shows us that it is worth living a life all out for God, especially when you get a chance to reflect on, what that can accomplish, and that he's one person that's done that 100%, and we can't all do it in the same way that he did, but I guess we can all do it a bit more, and I think that's something that has really encouraged me over the last few weeks.